Amazing evening in Ole Miss and Oxford, Mississippi. Truly one of the most amazing events that I have ever seen in person to be a part of. Blake, you held down the home fort here yesterday. Great show. I got lots of compliments from people, so well done, well done. Also, I want to do one of those dumb questions with you.
We need to have time. We should. A lot of people liked that.
What we need to do is we need to have like a bunch of Turning Point kids just call in, like make it available to them, and we'll just do like a dumb.
And we could turn the tables, do an Ask Gen Z where we try to figure out what is 6'7". Yeah,
what is exactly. So, but I mean, just genuinely, I have not had my phone light up like that in a long time, and it was really amazing to be there. Erika Kirk knocked it out of the park with one of the most, I think, morally clear, just inspiring, courageous messages. I mean, we're sort of getting accustomed to her delivering these amazing messages. I mean,
what a woman!
What a woman! Blake's famous line. I mean, listen, and then to have JD come. Like, here's what blows me away: is you do not see politicians do that. You do not see the vice president of the United States, not in an election year, just get up and take unvetted, unscreened questions.
It's so old-fashioned. Everyone's so used to politicians being so many layers around it. But it's the old-fashioned way of doing things. You know, in the 1800s. Everyone's talking about the White House. You used to be able to just walk up and knock on the White House front door, and you could ask for a meeting with the president. And
the people's
this is
house.
kind of a modern version of that. The vice president is out there. You can get access to him. You can ask him questions.
It was so raw. I mean, like, they were asking about Israel. They were asking about, what about your wife's not? She's brown. She's not a Christian.
It's so gutsy to take questions like that.
And he answered them with such grace and transparency, but yet he was still authoritative. He was on the offense. He never let the question or the questioner put him on sort of like the back heel. He was forward pushing the entire time. It was a triumph. And it really was.
Charlie would be so proud because he believed in JD from a very early day, and we've seen him. He's always had so much promise, but we've also seen him just get better and better and better.
Way better.
Because he's been, and the way you should get better, which is just getting out there, fighting every day, getting the experience, getting the reps, the same way Charlie did.
No, totally right. And let's without further ado, let's play some of these clips. Let's start with Erika. Now, you hear about the greatest generation. And Erika really wanted to make a point last night that she believes that Gen Z, and by the way, I believe this too. As a millennial, I believe this about you, Gen Z, that you are the courageous generation. My generation was sort of like, we're still getting over the Obama hangover or whatever. We got really excited about Obama in 2008 and 2012. Gen Z has a chance to be the courageous generation. And she, almost like in this prophetic, authoritative tone, she spoke right into the heart of Gen Z and said, you are the courageous generation. Play cut 262.
You are the courageous generation. That's what you are. All of you. Gen Z. You are the courageous generation. Hear me when I say that. My husband believed that to his core. That's why he went on campuses. That's why he was trying to reach you. You are the courageous generation. Own it. Make him proud.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you could hear her repeat. It was almost like she wanted to force their hearts to burst open and believe this thing that Charlie believed about them, that they are the courageous generation, that they really can be a turning point, and not to even use the cliche, but like in a real, genuine sense, we're seeing these signs of life from Gen Z that we have not seen in a long time, that people didn't believe were possible. And Charlie, by sheer force of will and pure action, offense, went into these college campuses, changed the narrative. 15 billion social media views later helps get President Trump elected. They were part of that. They are part of the solution. I really believe that. And our job is to keep it going. Erika's job is to keep it going. JD Vance's job is to keep it going. And to earn it, by the way, Blake, you know this. Charlie's favorite word in the English language was earn. And Erika talked about that last night. I don't know if you saw that clip. If not, we can play it.
She said that a few times, I think. He loved earn because you're not entitled to anything. He loves the idea of, Charlie lived that out more than anyone. Everything is earned. Everything is worked for. And the most meaningful things are worked for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, gosh, Charlie, it's funny because, Charlie started off really, really good at a few things. He earned his way to becoming really good at a lot of things. Let's play 261.
Charlie loved the word earn. Earn your voice. This is about your legacy. Each one of you in this room, everyone watching, when you earn your voice and you stand up for what is right, that is a part of your legacy, your family's legacy, just as much as it is part of Charlie's legacy. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. Because if there's one thing I've learned, especially being with Charlie for the past 7 years, it's that the hope we're looking for is not found in Washington. It's not found in media. It's right here. All of you. This is the hope.
This is the hope. The kids in that room. I mean, just to put it in perspective here, by the way, and we are going to get to the JD clips, but just to put it in perspective, there's about 27,000 students at Ole Miss. 14,000 of them registered for this event. 14,000. That arena held 10,000. So we had over half of the student body at Ole Miss registered to come to this event. We had 10,000 students. There was an additional 13,000. Hear me again, 13,000 adults that we had. Our team worked with the Ole Miss PR department to communicate with them and say, please do not come. It's going to be rainy and you can't get in. You're not going to get in. Please don't come. They came anyways. See this visual of all the people lining up. And it was like miles long. And so, it's raining. It's soggy. They still lined up. Even when we told them you couldn't come, they wanted to see if they get in the standby line. 10,000 people in that arena standing for the entire Erika Kirk speech. They did not sit for the entire speech that Erika gave. And then Erika, of course, brings in JD Vance, the vice president of the United States, not an election year, doesn't have to do this, but he takes the questions anyways. Blake, where should we go first?
Yeah, there's so many different things he answered, some of them on pretty tough ones. How about let's just do, for example, he took a question on people have highlighted, since immigration, H-1Bs, immigration from India has become an issue, and he just confronted, he is himself married to an Indian woman. So let's play 260.
Cool.
I am married to the daughter of immigrants who came to the United States in the 1980s. I do believe that some immigrants, many immigrants do in fact enrich the United States of America. But here's the problem. We don't even know how many illegal aliens we have. We don't even know. The best guess is probably 25, 30 million people. I've heard estimates as high as 50 million. When something like that happens, you've got to allow your own society to cohere a little bit, to build a sense of common identity, for all the newcomers to assimilate, the ones who are going to stay, to assimilate into American culture. Until you do that, you've got to be careful about any additional immigration, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, I love that he went right for it. There was actually, Usha played a particularly interesting role in some of the questioning, and we can get to some of that. But what stood out to me is that he did not dodge. He did not evade. He answered the question that was asked. He didn't do the PR thing where he sort of pivoted to what he wanted to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that came through. People were blown away by that. And I would just say, people sometimes think that we screen these questions. Even when Charlie was up there, we don't screen them. We don't do anything. The only screening
we had way too many occasionally awkward moments for it to have been screened.
No, exactly. We don't screen any of them. We just say, if you disagree, come to the front of the line. That's it. That's the one rule. So I guess you do screen, but you screen for the hardest ones and the ones they try and trip you up with. And JD, to his credit, he said it on this show when we were at the White House. He said, I want to do what Charlie did. I want to just take questions from the audience. That's how I'm going to honor Charlie. So God bless him for that. Here's the deal. So he gets this question from, I don't want to presume. She could have been from Bangladesh. She could have been Pakistani. I think she was Indian. I'm not sure. Let's just say I think. So she asked a pretty, you could see she was pretty upset. She basically framed the whole question to JD being like, listen, you guys made us spend our youth. You made us spend our lives believing in the American dream, and now you're doing all this stuff to hurt us and harm us. She didn't define what that was. So JD Vance says, listen, we're not here to say that if the government made a deal with you and you're here legally, that we're here to take that away. But that doesn't mean that in the future we're just obligated to continue letting in millions and millions of people.
There's no like, oh, we have to have forever let in infinite people.
No, and he went through the history of immigration, the ebbs and the flows, and the how we used to do it, and how assimilation used to be expected of immigrants. And then this girl, I presume she's a student at Ole Miss, she kept asking follow-up questions, and then she tries to get him on the fact that he's a Christian, Usha is not a Christian.
Yeah, so this is going to be two clips.
Two clips,
so
two-part answer.
Let's just play it consecutively, I think.
Yeah, I think we should. 285 and then 286. You guys can play them back to back.
Yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Blake, what's your takeaway from
this? When was the last time you saw a public figure just talk about their families,
their personal life?
It's a very personal thing to answer a question about, and he really just plunged into it, gave seems to me a very forthright answer.
Seems to me too.
We've gotten. It's almost shocking to see, just because we've gotten so used to the fake thing. Nancy Pelosi goes up there and is like, as a devout Catholic, I know that freedom of choice is extremely important. Like, that's our usual. That's the usual engagement we get on religion from people. It's this very affected piety. And that definitely didn't come off as affected piety to me. It was gutsy. There are going to be people, I imagine, who take issues with the answer one way or the other, but he just went at it.
Man, I totally agree. It's what a personal thing. It's personal without 10,000 people watching you. If somebody was like, well, that would be tough. Dating a non-Christian, what's your deal? For him to just do that in front of the world shows a tremendous amount of self-confidence and just self-assuredness. And to your point, I think he's growing in that, has grown in that tremendously over the years, and we've watched it, and it's really satisfying. I just want to keep going with this gal, because it seems like most of the articles I've seen from the left that are trying to attack this answer have been about this particular questioner. There was another questioner that was dating a foreign visa holder, visa holding student, and they're like, JD Vance says he's going to deport this kid's girlfriend. It was not at all what he said. It was so funny, but this
Charlie might have said something like that.
No, I know, totally. Charlie would be like, well, he needs to get deported. Anyways, let's go ahead and play 254. This is talking about how the fact there's too many immigrants in the country, and we don't owe it to. We actually owe it to Americans to take care of this generation, our people first and foremost. That's his job. And I thought it was a great answer. 254.
When you talk about too many immigrants here, when did you guys decide that number? You are pushing out policies that hurt us, and these policies are not even solving the problems. These policies are just creating chaos.
Ma'am. Okay, so again, I'm gonna finish answering the question. There's too many people who want to come to the United States of America, and my job as vice president is not to look out for the interests of the whole world. It's to look out for the people of the United States. Now,
by the way, the crowd erupted. That you heard it in the clip, but it would if you were there, it was almost deafening. The moral clarity of saying we're going to take care of our people first, so refreshing, and you actually heard it articulated in detail in the answers.
Yeah, and man, it just feels great that. Think about, we're seeing what Charlie built, which is we could hold an event on a college campus and not, it's not at Hillsdale, it's not at Liberty, it's not at, a handful of schools that were very used to being supportive of us. It's a big public university campus, and we could pack it full of people and have them just applaud at something like that.
Yeah, amen. 1,500 people in that chapter, by the way.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.